Okay? Now, let's do area in the same way that we did this. Isn't it going to be the same? It's the same triangle, right? So it's just going to be area equals 1/2 BD times height. All right, so we did the whole first row. Now we've got to fill in the second row. It said right here, in the second line, solve for h in the first column and plug it into the area in the second column. Well, it's going to become kind of messy if we have to write the segment names. So I'm going to relabel my triangle with side lengths, just with smaller lowercase letters. See this capital C here? I'm going to say the side opposite is lowercase c. Capital D, the side opposite is lowercase d. Capital B, the side opposite is lowercase b. So that'll be easier to work with. So if we have to rewrite this solving for h, let's consider BC as D here. It'll just be easier. And it starts to fit more into our formula that we get later. If I have to get h by itself, what do? Multiply both sides by what? D, right? That gets h by itself. So that means that h is going to equal D times the sine of B. Now before any of you begin to panic, don't think you're going to have to prove this on the quiz. I haven't seen the quiz yet, but we're just working through it together. So what we're doing here is we're solving for h. That's what we did. All right. Now what I do is I take what I've decided is h and I plug it into that formula right there. But I'm also going to consider side BD as what letter? C. And I'm going to rewrite that area formula with the letter C and with this plugged in as the height. Okay? All right, now let's do this next one. Instead of using segment DC, I'm going to use what letter? B. And I'm going to solve for h here. How do I get h by itself? I multiply both sides by what? B. So h is equal to the sine of D. Actually, I'm going to rewrite that. H is equal to B times the sine D. Then we use this, and we substitute it into there for h. Segment BD we decided to call what? C. So I just rewrite the area formula. So we did the first row. We have to do it for triangle 2 and triangle 3 as well, right here. Okay? So now we're going to go down and we're going to do the same thing for triangle 2. It'll be quicker this time. So triangle 2 we decided was the one with BC as the base, right? Okay. So if I'm going from angle B here and I need to write the height using sine, it would be the sine of B equals h over what? I know you want to do that already. Should we do that already? No. Let's just make this C, lowercase c, be easier. We can do that. Opposite the capital C is going to be lowercase c. Opposite capital D is going to be lowercase d. Opposite capital B is lowercase b. All right, let's do that. We'll use those little letters. The sine of B here is equal to h over c. Shall we just rewrite for height right now? I'm pretty good at that. How do I rewrite this for height? Multiply both sides by c, right? H equals c times the sine of b. Okay, let's do area for this triangle. Area equals 1/2 the base, which I decided is what letter? D in this triangle, times the height. Then we're going to take and we're going to substitute h with that stuff, and we're going to rewrite the area formula. Area equals 1/2 D times this stuff. Okay, now let's write the height from angle C here. So we're from this angle now. Opposite is H, hypotenuse is what? B. Then we're going to rewrite H as multiply both sides by B, so it would be B times the sine of C. And then the final one for this would be area equals 1/2. We decided the B, the base, was side D times H. And I'm going to plug this in for H. So I have area equals 1/2 D times B times sine of C. All right, before we move on, does anybody notice anything? Look at the, I'm not going to say what to look at. What do you notice? Any similarities? Where? It should be, right? These two are the same, yes? Okay. Ultimately, we're going to see more of that. It should be because it's the same triangle, correct? Well, let's do another row and see what happens. All right, this time we're going to use triangle 3, which is this one right here, with CD as the base. So let's write our lowercase letters in. This would be side B, because it's opposite capital B. This would be lowercase d, and this is lowercase c. I want you to go back up just in case and write something here. This is from altitude from C. That's where that triangle was. See, this was the altitude from C. This one was the altitude from D. Altituder. This one is the altitude from where? B. B. Triangle 3 has an altitude from B. All right. You should be pretty quick at this now. If we're using this triangle right here, and we're going to express height as a sine from angle C, I'm going to say the sine of C is equal to H over what? D, right? Let's do area. Area equals 1/2. The base from triangle 3 we're calling lowercase b times the height. Sine from angle D is going to be the opposite H over the hypotenuse C. And then the area is going to be the same, 1/2 base times height. Now I want you to do the bottom row by yourself, just like the other two. You can do it, I promise. Take a look at these area formulas and compare them to the drawings and see if there's anything you notice about where things are positioned. Come on now, third hour got it. There's a challenge. What do you think, Sabina?
No.
What do you think?
The area is like one side times the other side times the sine of the angle.
Right on. Very good. Take a look. Let's look at this first one here. Yeah. Look. Side C times side D times the sine of the angle in between. And that's true for this one too. Okay? Here, side C times side B times the angle in between with the 1/2. Yeah, with the 1/2 in there. See that? Ah, that's true for all of them. Okay? So that's just an observation. So you could actually write this pretty easily if you have these sides labeled like this, C times D, then the sine of the angle has to be the B. C times B has to be the sine of angle D. Okay? So turn it over. We're going to do a little bit on this side, not all of it. All right, so we're going to write the general form for the area of a triangle. Well, you notice that we don't have 6 formulas, do we? We have how many? 3. Okay, so we're going to write those 3. So let's start with this one. We have 1/2 C times D times the sine of B. So let's write that in there. We can come up with the other 2 without looking at the other side. Look, if we have area equals 1/2 C, we already did D, so we'd have to do C times what? B, that would be sine of which angle that isn't here? B. Oh, no, D, sorry. Yeah, D. Okay, then we can do the third one. We did C times D, we did C times B, so we would have to do what here? B times D, correct? And then that would be times the sine of what angle? C. Ah, we're getting closer. I know I'm going to leave you as a cliffhanger here, but that's okay. I know you just will be on the edge of your seats until tomorrow. Since all the triangles are congruent, we already know they're congruent, they must have the same area. So equate the 3 and see what happens. Okay, so since they're all equal, I'm going to write them as all equal. So I'll start with the top one. 1/2 C times D times the sine of B equals the next one. 1/2 C times B times the sine of D equals 1/2 B times D times the sine of C, and we're going to stop there. See if you feel like it, see if you can figure out where we're going to go with this, but you don't have to.